It always starts the same. Late night, alone, phone in your hand, scrolling old texts like they're scriptures, replaying every smile, every look, every maybe. Maybe she cared, maybe it meant something, maybe it's not over. Brother, stop. You're not stuck because of what she did. You're stuck because of what you keep doing to yourself, rewriting memories, holding on to ghosts, waiting for a sign that was never coming. Let me give it to you straight. If a woman respects you, if she truly wants you, you won't be sitting there wondering women don't hide from men they admire. And if you're stuck trying to read between the lines, there's nothing there. Wake up. She's not confused. She's not busy. She's not figuring things out. She's just not choosing you. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you get back to building the man who never waits for permission to move forward. In this video, I'm breaking down 3 psychological signs a woman is into you, without words, without guessing, without chasing. These signs don't live in her texts. They don't live in her stories. They live in her behavior. Real. Interest is quiet. It's natural. It's effortless. A woman who respects you won't make you solve a puzzle. She'll show you, in the way only women do, when they feel safe in a man's presence. This is about cutting through the noise, getting out of your head, and standing firm in who you are. If you're ready to stop chasing women and start leading yourself, drop this in the comments like you mean it. I protect my peace. Number 1, she seeks your presence, not just your attention. What this really means. Look, a lot of women love attention. That's not special. Most men don't even realize the game they're playing. Hell, I've been that man, sitting there late at night, staring at my phone like a damn fool, rereading her texts, looking for signs, analyzing her words like some lovesick detective. She used 3 exclamation points. Maybe she likes me. Pathetic. That's what happens when you've been starving for real connection. You start mistaking any attention for affection. You take the smallest breadcrumb, and you treat it like a damn feast. But let me tell you something hard, brother. Attention is cheap. Attention is everywhere. And women, they're masters of it. Social media, texting, flirting at work, compliments in passing. They've been soaking in attention since they were teenagers. It's nothing to them. It costs them nothing. So when a man starts orbiting a woman like a lost little moon, waiting for her next like, her next laugh, her next reply, he doesn't look strong. He doesn't look mysterious. He looks common, replaceable. Because every woman has a dozen men like that in her life. Men who confuse attention with connection. Men who think making her laugh means he matters. Men who think playful banter means she's already his. And when you do that, when you start chasing her attention like a dog chasing its tail, you lose your power, you lose your frame, you lose yourself. But there's a deeper game going on underneath all of this. See, when a woman truly respects a man, when she's genuinely drawn to him, it's not just about attention anymore, it's about presence. Presence is different. Presence is primal. Presence is ancient. When a woman values your presence, she starts moving different. It's not about the words anymore. It's about the energy in the room. She finds reasons to be near you. She sits closer without realizing it. She lingers in conversation when she could easily walk away. She starts asking about you, your life, your story, your pain. That's not performance. That's instinct. That's her feminine responding to something in you she doesn't even fully understand. Because presence is not noise. Presence is gravity. And most men don't have. It be because they've filled their lives with distraction. Their minds are loud, their hearts are restless, their self-worth is dangling from the next text notification. But a man who has built presence, he's not chasing attention. He's not scanning his phone like a junkie. He's not measuring his worth in emojis and half-hearted compliments. He knows who he is, and that knowing changes everything. Because here's the thing, no one tells you a woman will test your presence long before she trusts it. She'll give you just enough attention to see if you'll lose yourself. She'll flirt, then pull away. She'll smile, then go cold. She'll drop a compliment, then disappear. And if you chase it, if you bite the bait like every other man, a game over. She knows you're another attention addict, another man who doesn't know how to sit in his own stillness. But if you hold steady, if you stay grounded, unmoved, unaffected, if you stay fully present without needing anything from her, that's when the shift happens. That's when she starts wanting your presence, not because you begged for it, not because you earned it with jokes or gifts or validation-seeking nonsense, but because your presence feels like home. It feels like peace. It feels like strength. And let me tell you something I learned the hard way. There is nothing more attractive to a feminine woman than a man who is calm in his own silence. That kind of man she can trust, she can respect, she can relax around because he's not trying to impress her, he's not performing, he's not chasing, he just is, still rooted, present. That is real masculine energy, not noise, not games, not desperation masked as charm. Presence, own it. And remember this, attention is currency for the common man. Presence is power. For the uncommon man, choose wisely. Most men don't even know how loud they've become, not their voice, their energy. It's frantic, it's restless, it's hungry. Every text they send, every joke they tell, every compliment they drop, it's bait, it's noise, it's the sound of a man who's lost his center, trying to fill the silence he's terrified of. I know that feeling. Hell, I lived there for years. After my breakup, after she left, I didn't know who I was without that attention. I didn't even realize how addicted I'd become, checking my phone like it held my damn soul, scrolling back to see if she watched my stories, wondering if maybe, just maybe, if I posted the right thing, said the right words, smiled the right way, she'd come back. She didn't. And I'm glad, because that man, the man I was back then, he wasn't worth following. He wasn't worth respecting. He wasn't even worth my own peace. See, when a woman feels your restlessness, she doesn't lean in. She pulls away, not because she's cruel, not because she's playing games, but because the feminine can't trust a man who doesn't trust himself. She feels your neediness before you speak. She senses your lack of grounding before you touch her hand. She knows when your attention isn't a gift, it's a trap. You want to lead, you want respect. Stop chasing her attention like a starving dog. Stop reacting to every little test like a man who's never sat in silence before. Silence is where men are forged. Silence is where clarity lives. And a man who is comfortable in silence, that man is dangerous, not reckless, not loud. Dangerous in the way a mountain is dangerous. Dangerous in the way the ocean is dangerous. Powerful, unmoving, calm. When you walk into a room, be the man who doesn't need to prove a damn thing. Be the man who slows his words down because he values them. Be the man who listens fully, because he's not waiting for his turn to impress. Be the man who lets silence breathe, because he knows peace lives there. I'm telling you right now, if you're always trying to fill the space with noise, with jokes, with compliments, with nervous stories about nothing, you will kill the very thing you crave most. Attraction doesn't grow in noise. It grows in space. Women don't fall for the loudest man in the room. They fall for the man who can sit across from them, look them dead in the eye, and say absolutely nothing, because nothing needs to be said. That kind of presence, it can't be faked, it can't be rushed, it can't be downloaded from some alpha male YouTube tutorial. Presence is built in quiet places, in early mornings when you sit with your own thoughts, in hard workouts when nobody's watching, in long days where you stay focused, disciplined, and patient. Presence is what happens when you stop needing the world to clap for you. And once you have it, everything changes, because women don't crave attention from boys. They crave presence from men. Solid, unshakable, rooted. So next time she's around you, slow down, speak less, mean every word, breathe deeper, let the silence stretch. Watch her lean in, not because you chased her, but because you stopped chasing anything at all. And remember this, real men don't fill silence. Real men own it. Number 2, she tests you and smiles when you pass. What this really means, it usually starts small, not loud, not obvious. It's in the way she teases you in front of her friends. The way she challenges something you just said. Not harshly, but sharp enough to see how you'll respond. Maybe she delays a reply on purpose. Maybe she pulls back when things start getting real. And the untrained man, the man who's desperate for approval, falls for it every damn time. He gets defensive. He explains himself too much. He overreacts, gets emotional, starts chasing harder to prove he's different, but he's not different. He's predictable. He's weak. He's just another man failing the ancient test of masculine composure. See, a lot of guys think women test them because they're doing something wrong. Wrong. Women test men because they hope they're doing something right. A woman doesn't push back to be cruel. She pushes back because deep down, she wants to feel something immovable. Something stronger than her emotions, something steadier than her own chaos. That's the storm of the feminine, that swirling energy of emotion, feeling, unpredictability. But the masculine, true masculinity, it's the mountain. It doesn't chase the storm. It doesn't run from it. It doesn't beg the storm to calm down. It stands still, and because of that, the storm changes. This is what most men never learn. They think a test is a threat. It's not. It's an invitation to show her, not with words, not with clever lines, not with fragile bravado, but with your stillness. That you don't fold, you don't react. You don't lose yourself just because she's emotional. And if you can do that, if you can hold your frame when she's poking at it, if you can stay calm when she's emotional, if you can laugh it off, or better yet, stay silent when words aren't needed, she feels that it hits deeper than any compliment. It hits deeper than flowers or texts or promises, because she sees the man you are under pressure. And pressure always reveals character. You want to know why some men always attract feminine energy. It's not money, it's not looks, it's presence under pressure, it's calm in the fire, it's strength that doesn't advertise itself, it just is. I learned this the hard way. Years ago, I failed every test she threw at me. I'd get defensive. I'd argue stupid points just to be right. I'd blow up her phone when she'd pull away, and it drove her further away every single time. Not because she didn't like me, but because I didn't respect myself. I wasn't centered. I wasn't still. And a man without stillness is a man without gravity. But I rebuilt, piece by piece, in silence, in discipline, in solitude. And the next time life tested me, the next time a woman pushed my buttons, I didn't fold, I didn't chase, I didn't explain myself like a little boy begging for approval. I let it come, and I stayed grounded. She smiled, because women know. They know when they've met a man who can lead not with control, but with calm. A man who doesn't need to overpower because his energy speaks louder than any words. That's the Stoic way. That's the way of the mountain. So the next time a woman tests you, don't flinch, don't fold, don't chase, smile, let the test come, be still, and remember this. A weak man fears her tests. A strong man welcomes them, but a stoic man expects them and never loses himself in the storm. Be the mountain, brother. Be unmoved. There's a moment every man faces, a moment where she tests him. Maybe it's subtle, a playful jab at your ego. Maybe it's sharp, a boundary push to see if you mean what you say. Maybe it's quiet, pulling away emotionally to see if you'll chase. And most men crumble. Not because she's evil, not because she's toxic, but because they've never been taught what that test really means. They think it's rejection. They think it's disrespect. They think it's a problem they need to fix. But here's the truth. Most men never learn until it's too late. A good woman will test you, not to break you, but to find you. She's not testing your bank account. She's not testing your looks. She's not testing your ability to say the right thing. She's testing one thing, your center, the place in you that doesn't move, doesn't shake, doesn't get thrown off balance just because she's feeling a certain way. Because the feminine is a storm. It's supposed to be emotions, waves, feeling, change. And the masculine is what stays grounded when the storm rolls in. That's why she tests you. She needs to feel, not hear. Feel that you're unshaken. She needs to feel that you're a man who won't betray himself just to calm her feelings. Because here's the brutal truth. If you fold every time she gets emotional, she loses trust. If you chase her when she pulls away, she loses respect. If you react like a boy desperate for approval, she loses attraction. That's the law of polarity. You can't fake this. She will sense it every damn time. So what does the stoic man do? He doesn't fear the test. He expects it. He welcomes it. Because a man who fears tests is a man who fears life. And a man who fears life will never lead anyone. See, a test is a gift. It's a mirror. It shows you exactly where you're still weak, exactly where you still need validation, exactly where you still attach your peace to someone else's approval. And when you pass that test, it's not about dominance. It's not about control. It's about peace. You breathe deeper. You respond slower. You smile like a man who's seen this movie before. Because you have. You've seen it in life, in loss, in heartbreak, in rejection. You've stood alone before and you've survived. So her pulling back, her teasing, her pushing, that doesn't shake you, that doesn't move you, because your peace isn't up for negotiation. That smile you give her when she tests you, it tells her everything. It tells her, you don't control me, but I'll lead you if you're worthy. And that right there, that's rare. That's attractive in a way no words can fake. It makes her feel safe, not because you promised it, but because you are it. Stillness, presence, grounded strength. This isn't about games. This isn't about manipulating women. This is about mastering yourself. Because the truth is simple. If a woman can move you with a look, a test, a delay in reply, life will destroy you. Life will break a man like that. This world will test you harder than any woman ever will. Hard days, sudden loss, financial hits, loneliness, pain. It's all coming. So start practicing now. Start holding your ground now. Start breathing deeper when things get uncomfortable. Start welcoming the test, not with anger, not with ego, not with force, but with calm, with that small, knowing smile. The smile of a man who doesn't chase storms, because he is the mountain. Remember this, brother. She's not testing you to hurt you. She's testing you to see if you can hold her world without losing your own. Be still. Be calm. Be unmoved. Number 3, she mirrors your masculine energy. What this really means, it happens quiet at first. Subtle shifts. You don't notice it right away because you're too busy talking, too busy explaining yourself, too busy trying to be understood. That's where a lot of men lose themselves. They meet a woman who's soft, open, playful, and instead of holding their ground, staying in their calm masculine energy, they start chasing connection like a scared kid lost in the grocery store. They overshare, they over-explain, they start spilling their guts like she's their therapist, trying to connect through words, trying to get closer by leaning in too far, too fast, and without knowing it, they step right into the trap that kills attraction cold. Because here's the thing most men don't understand. A woman in her feminine doesn't fall deeper because you match her softness. She falls deeper because your strength makes her feel safe enough to stay soft. Your calm creates her surrender. Your steadiness creates her flow. This isn't about control. This isn't about playing games. This is ancient. This is polarity. Masculine and feminine energy don't compete. They dance, but only when both people stay in their role. See, a lot of broken men who've been wounded in past relationships, they don't trust their own masculinity. They've been told it's toxic. They've been told being stoic makes them cold. They've been told being direct makes them controlling, so they swing the other way. They become overly emotional, overly available, overly vulnerable, without earning trust first, and it smothers the very thing they want most, that playful, radiant, nurturing side of a feminine woman. It only shows up when she feels safe in your strength, not in your words, in your energy. You'll know you're doing it right. Not because she tells you, but because she changes around you. She relaxes, she lets go, she mirrors your grounded calm with her own soft openness. And here's the key. If she's hard, cold, guarded, defensive, don't try to talk her out of it. That's what weak men do. They get louder. They explain more. They try to prove they're safe by spilling their life story. It doesn't work. You don't lead her back to softness with words. You lead her back with presence. You slow down. You speak less. You let the silence do the heavy lifting, because a grounded man doesn't panic in emotional spaces. He knows the storm isn't personal. He knows feelings are temporary. He doesn't lean in. He doesn't beg. He doesn't fill the room with noise. He waits, rooted, patient, unmoved. And sure enough, if she's feminine at her core, she'll come back. She'll soften again. Because you stayed anchored when she drifted. You didn't follow her chaos. You invited her back to peace by living there yourself. This is what masculine leadership looks like. not force, not control, steadiness, discipline, restraint. That the hardest thing for a man to master isn't words, it's silence. It's being okay when she pulls back. It's being okay when the conversation gets quiet. It's being okay when her emotions swing. Because you're not reacting to her mood, you're living by your standard. And when she sees that, when she feels that, she mirrors it. Not because you told her to, but because nature wired her that way. Masculine energy invites the feminine home. So stop talking so damn much. Stop over-explaining your soul like it's on clearance. Sail, let your actions speak. Let your presence lead. Hold your frame, let her soften at her own pace. And when she does, when she looks at you with those softer eyes, that playful smile, that warmth returning, remember this. She didn't come back because you chased her. She came back because you never left yourself. That's the real power. That's the rare energy. The man who stays rooted when the world or a woman drifts. Be that man and never forget, masculine energy doesn't chase. Masculine energy waits, calm, centered, unmoved. It usually happens without you noticing. You meet a woman, she's soft, she's playful, she lights up around you, and for a brief moment, you feel like a king. But then, something inside you flips. You start craving that feeling like a drug. You start needing her softness, needing her attention, needing her warmth. And without realizing it, you begin doing the exact thing that kills attraction dead. You leave your post. You leave your masculine frame. You start over-explaining, over-sharing, over-communicating, trying to convince her how safe you are, trying to prove how different you are, trying to pour words into the silence because you're uncomfortable without constant reassurance. I've done it. Most men have. But here's the truth I learned, and the truth most men learn too late. The moment you abandon your stillness to chase her softness, she starts pulling away, not because she's cruel, but because that's not how masculine and feminine energy work. A woman in her feminine doesn't surrender to words. She surrenders to presence, stillness, groundedness, unshakable calm. That's the energy that allows her to soften. That's the energy that makes her feel safe enough to let go of control. Because the feminine, real feminine energy only lets go when it senses strength, not force, not control, not noise, strength. And strength isn't loud. Strength is still, strength is simple. Strength is a man who doesn't need to explain himself because his actions speak louder than any speech ever could. Most guys get this backwards. They think if she's pulling away, they need to lean in more. They need to talk more. They need to share more feelings. All they do is smother her feminine energy until there's nothing left, until she closes up, until she hardens, until she becomes cold and guarded. And then they wonder what went wrong. What went wrong is simple. You left your post. Your job as a man isn't to out-feminine her. Your job is to hold your masculine energy like a damn fortress, solid, calm, unmoved. Speak less, mean more. That doesn't mean you're cold. That doesn't mean you're distant. That doesn't mean you ignore her. It means when you do speak, it comes from truth. It comes from grounded clarity. It comes from a place of knowing exactly who you are, with or without her validation. And here's the wild part. When you stop chasing her energy, she brings it to you. When you stop leaning in, she starts leaning back. When you stay calm, she starts to feel safe enough to surrender. Women, mirror strength. That's biology, that's polarity, that's ancient, your presence. is the container. Her softness fills the space you create, but the container has to hold. It can't leak, it can't shake, it can't beg. It has to hold. That's the test. That's your role. That's the cost of being a man with real masculine energy. And yeah, it's hard, especially after heartbreak, especially after toxic relationships, especially when you've been told that being a good man means being endlessly available, endlessly accommodating, endlessly explaining every damn feeling. Like your heart's on a PowerPoint presentation. It doesn't work, never has, never will. Hold your masculine energy. Lead, direct, clear, speak less, mean more. Be the man who doesn't lose himself just because she's having a bad day. Be the man who doesn't crumble just because she's distant for a moment. Be the man who lets her come back to him in her own time. Because he never left himself. That's power, that's respect, that's rare, and that's the man who always wins in the end. Remember this, your calm presence isn't just attractive, it's safety, it's leadership, it's home. For you, for the life you're building. So stay rooted, stay grounded, stay still. Let her feminine energy come to rest in the strength of your quiet calm. Real men don't chase energy. Real men create it. Brother, every sign I've given you, every test, every signal, every moment of doubt, it all leads back to one place. Not her, not them, not the outside world. You. This isn't about learning tricks to get women. This isn't about becoming some smooth-talking, attention-seeking performer. This is about becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to chase clarity, because he is clarity. Solid, certain, unmoved. You stop asking, does she like me? You start asking, am I living like a man I respect when I'm alone? That's the difference between the weak and the strong, the lost and the found. Weak men try to read signals. Strong men become the signal. And if she's truly feminine, if she's truly ready, she will feel that. She will show you. You won't have to decode it. You won't have to chase it. And if she doesn't, if she plays games, if she runs from your calm strength, you let her go. No anger, no noise, no drama. You don't chase storms. You don't beg chaos to stay. You don't lose sleep over someone who doesn't see what's standing right in front of them. Because the man you're building, he doesn't move for approval. He doesn't shake for attention. He doesn't kneel for validation. He stands, he leads, he rebuilds in silence, in peace, in power. So if you're with me, if you're walking that path, drop this in the comments like a vow to yourself. I rebuild in silence. Say it because it's true. Say it because you mean it. Say it because this world doesn't need more noise. It needs more men who know exactly who they are. Even when no one's watching, send this to a brother who needs to hear it. We rise different, we move different, we rebuild different. Silence isn't empty. Silence is full of everything that makes a man unbreakable.